my hope is that as we get into the world of AI, where people are using, artificial tools, that they will use them as tools to do storytelling, but they won't try to replace, creative people with storytelling tools, because that's what they are. They're tools. They're not solutions. So.
Yeah, I agree. And could you tell us a bit how you've implemented AI in your work, whether it be professional day-to-day stuff or maybe you're writing for your books?
I do. I obviously working in machine learning and artificial intelligence. Naturally, I'm pretty heavy into the AI tools that are out there, and I've been since ChatGPT launched. I've been pretty involved with it and use it every single day. What I find though is it's quite good for doing some of the boring work. So it's quite good for the scaffolding of things. So when I do write an article, sometimes I will ask ChatGPT or Notion AI or one of the other tools out there. Claude, I think, is actually probably maybe my favorite now of the tools that are out there. But I will ask it to write the article that I might want to write, but I will totally rewrite it afterwards. But what it will do sometimes is it will give me, again, the scaffolding of an article of what I can think about, and I'll inevitably wipe out these things. I'll rewrite it. But it's useful for doing just that organization of things, which is something I would used to have to do because I would always outline everything beforehand. And now it's really just taking my outlining portion, kind of helping me with outlining. I don't think that its output is very strong. In general, I think they're pretty bad at coming up with creative ideas. And anytime I've ever seen something where I've said, "Oh, that's a nice phrase," I would go to Google and I would grab that phrase and I'd inevitably find it somewhere else. So that feels like plagiarism to me, if I found, somebody else wrote that nice phrase about this board game or whatever else. I'm not going to reproduce that in my article. That would be terrible. So I end up rewriting everything. So I think it's very useful. They're very useful for that. For creative writing, it's good for inspiration. One of my friends, Vivian Mildenberger, who is a brilliant, wonderful artist who illustrates children's books. Vivian was one of the people I talked about this, I think, with her earliest. She said, "Oh yeah, I'm using Midjourney," and she was using Stable Diffusion and everything like that. She said for sketching, and so she would put a description in, and she'd say, "This is what I want to draw," and then she would get these outputs, and then she'd go, "Oh, okay, great. Now I have a little sense of things, and now I'll go paint the real painting." So for that purpose, for some of the stuff that's the process of getting to where it is that you're writing, it can be helpful. But I think there's a fundamental difference between some writers. There's the writers who like to have written, and there's the writers who actually enjoy writing. And sometimes maybe you switch between them because maybe you're exhausted from writing and you go, "Gosh, I just wish this was done." But I think that for people that just want to get something out the door, they're going to probably lean on these tools more, and I think they're going to end up with work that they're not going to be very proud of. I think for writers who actually enjoy writing, which I would definitely put myself in that category, I love to write. I enjoy it. When you get a phrase out that you just are happy about, or a piece goes out and you go, "Wow, I really, little pat on the back. That sounded pretty good." That's about as wonderful a joy as I experience, except maybe, time with my children and my wife. I mean, that is such a golden feel. I wouldn't want to lose that, by letting an AI write everything for me. So it's really good for, suggestions and for ideas. I think for, just throwing up, thoughts on these things.